Hi everyone, and welcome to today's session, which is all about joint pain and our gut. So I don't know if you know if there is a link between joint pain and the gut. And there is. So whilst genes, our environment, our gender, our age, have long been known to be factors for increasing the risk for joint pain or joint conditions such as arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, scientists now know that the gut also plays a key role, and in particular, of course, the microbes that reside inside our gut. So there have been several studies that have shown that people with rheumatoid arthritis have a distinct pattern of gut microbes, including high levels of specific bacteria called Prevotella and low levels of a family of bifidobacterium. So they might be names that you've heard before. And there's other disease-causing bacteria that they tend to have higher amounts of. People that have the gene HLA-B27 are also known to have an increased risk of developing something called ankylosing spondylitis or psoriatic arthritis, other joint bone types of diseases. And what the scientists know is that that specific gene alters the gut microbiome. So those people then have a different kind of makeup of bacteria in their gut too. Some of the studies have also shown that intestinal hyperpermeability, which is sometimes known as leaky gut, which isn't necessarily true, it's not really a leaky gut, but people with that kind of permeability, which means that you're allowing things to go from the gut into the bloodstream that ordinarily wouldn't be allowed in. They also tend to have an imbalance of gut bacteria, which we call dysbiosis. And when you have leaky gut and that dysbiosis, that's correlated with having joint pain and joint diseases as well. Now, our gut, our intestines, when they are healthy, they are naturally permeable. So they allow nutrients to absorb across the gut lining and into the bloodstream. And that's a normal thing. That has to happen so that we can actually absorb our nutrients. But if the gut lining becomes damaged because of high amounts of inflammation, then larger particles, whether that's bacteria or food particles, cross into the bloodstream, which would ordinarily not be there. They can then cause increased inflammation and an immune response that ordinarily we wouldn't get, and that can cause problems as well. So you can end up with inflammation in other parts of your body, including your joints. Some bacteria, gram-negative bacteria in particular, they contain these kind of sugar fat compounds on their cell wall, which we call lipopolysaccharides or LPS. And they've been specifically found that once they cross through the gut lining into the bloodstream, they actually stimulate the immune system and they drive inflammation in various parts of the body, including the brain, the lungs, and the joints, leading to more pain and swelling. So there was a review in 2020 that showed that dysbiosis, that imbalance of bacteria, also contributed to the development of osteoarthritis. Now, usually osteoarthritis is kind of considered to be due to wear and tear or aging, but we actually know that imbalance of gut bacteria plays a role. So changing the composition of the gut bacteria, and we have like viruses and yeast that also live in our bacteria, and they have genes. So that's what we call the microbiome. When the composition of the microbiome changed, then that actually slowed the progression of arthritis. So now researchers are specifically focusing on that knowledge in order to design treatments using specific supplements, what they call nutraceuticals, which are kind of nutrients that are used in a kind of pharmaceutical way, such as collagen, such as chondroitin, sulfate, and glucosamine, amongst others, because they can see that actually makes a difference. So they've been long recommended for joint support, but now they're realizing that actually the chondroitin, the collagen, the glucosamine aren't just helping the joints, but they're actually influencing the gut microbiome by being prebiotics, as in the gut bacteria ferment the collagen, the chondroitin, and the glucosamine, and that then makes them effective at reducing inflammation in the joint. So it's much more than actually just reducing inflammation there, it's actually working at the gut level. So we know that chondroitin in particular reduces specific bacteria that are pro-inflammatory, bacteroides, and this specific group of bacteria, sometimes they're called proteobacteria, they can block stress-induced intestinal inflammation. And glutamine and collagen, particularly type 2 collagen, have also been shown that they change the diversity of bacteria to more anti-inflammatory promoting bacteria. So the key takeaways from this is that, number one, diet influences the gut microbiome. What we eat will determine what kind of gut bacteria we have, because some bacteria really love our prebiotic foods. You know, the more variety we have, the more variety we have in our gut. The gut microbiome affects all health, not just the gut. And the best way to ensure a healthy gut microbiome, and therefore a healthy gut, is to feed the good bugs and ensure a healthy diversity and a better balance. So while some researchers believe that changes to the gut microbiome only occurs as long as a healthy diet does, there are two particular professors, Rob Knight and Jack Gilbert, who are experts in the gut microbiome, and they believe that permanent change is possible after 19 to 15 months of staying on a healthy diet. But others don't necessarily agree with that. So what is a healthy diet is considered to be the Mediterranean type diet. So one that's rich in vegetables, in legumes, your beans, your peas, your pulses, your lentils, nuts and seeds, fermented dairy, fruit, small amounts of fish and lean meats, sourdough bread, olive oil, herbs, and a good helping of Asian spices. That's considered to be the healthiest type of diet that our gut bacteria absolutely love. So there are a few tips I want to share with you that can help to support your gut to prevent and or reduce joint pain. So it's thought that some people with arthritis may have food sensitivities, which they might not even be aware of. So intolerances can lead to inflammation, and which then can lead to joint pain. So if you think that you could possibly be intolerant to certain foods, you're not exactly sure, then give me a call. I have something called the Reactivity Reset, which I'll do a couple of times a year, and that's specifically teaching you how to remove your typical foods that can cause intolerances, and then actually test to see which foods specifically are maybe not right for you. Or you can just work with me one-on-one, whatever you need. But give me a shout if this is something that you're interested in and you want to explore whether it's a possible reason behind your arthritis. Could be food sensitivities. Sometimes it could also be that there is an imbalance in your gut. SIBO can sometimes create joint pain. There are tests that you can do for that, and there's certainly things you can do if you do have SIBO. Again, give me a shout if that's something you're interested in finding out more about. Eating vegetables, absolutely key. 5 to 9 serves, really, really important. Eat fiber-rich foods, prebiotic foods, pretty much plants. They fuel your good bacteria. And the more diverse your plant intake is, the more diverse your gut bacteria. So have a look at what you eat and try and add more food, more plant foods into your everyday. Have a look, make sure you're not eating the same plant foods every day. Add some more colors, try and eat a rainbow, really important. Plants are also naturally anti-inflammatory, and we know inflammation drives joint pain and other chronic disease. So you cannot go past increasing your veggies, and it might be you just have to do it slowly. Add one new veggie in every day until you get to the part where you're actually having 9 or 10 serves of veggies every day. No more than 2 pieces of fruit. The other thing is reducing food and drinks which can drive inflammation. So that's your refined carbohydrates. You know, this is your biscuits and your muffins. Not to say you don't have them, you just reduce them so they're not everyday foods. Your sugar-dense food, your sugar-dense drinks, you know, your fizzy pops, your refined and highly processed fats. Excess alcohol, you know, you should be only having one, if you're a woman, 1 to 2 standard drinks, which is only about 100 ml is a standard drink of alcohol a day, which is actually a really small amount if you measured it out. Your processed meats as well, they can drive inflammation. So again, you're not necessarily removing them, you're just reducing them so that you have them now and again. For some people, dairy and gluten can cause inflammation, but only if you're sensitive to them. So you don't necessarily have to remove dairy and gluten. If you're not sensitive, you'd know if you're sensitive. And again, if this is something you want to find out about, let me know. Consider probiotic and fermented foods because that can help to balance out our good bacteria. So things like your kefir, your kombucha, yogurt, sauerkraut, kefir, miso, so kefir twice must be important, tempeh, apple cider vinegar, sourdough products, they're all really important. It's really good to start small, little mouthful, teaspoon, and work up. And then eventually you're going to have a good old dollop or slurp at every meal. But start small, work up. If you react to probiotic or fermented foods, that could be a sign that maybe you have that small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So again, that's something that you can actually manage and remove and deal with. You might consider supplementing. So consider supplementing with prebiotic fibers. You might consider supplementing with probiotics, with glutamine, with zinc, with chondroitin, with collagen type 2, turmeric, and sulforaphane. These are all really good specific nutrients that can help to either influence the gut microbiota or to reduce inflammation, particularly in the joints, by working on the gut. So hopefully there are a few things there. If you've got any questions, please let me know, get in touch with me. If you want references for these, if you go to my blog on my website, all the references for this are on the website as well. So have fun. I hope this helps. Take care, and I will see you soon.